Good evening. Welcome to Camnet Television Main News. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo to present our headlines tonight. NAKONDE child abductor and 3 other convicts escape from custody. Eastern Province farmers demand timely payments from FRA. Climate change worries Disability Rights Watch. In international news, Greece votes in parliamentary pause for second time in 5 weeks. And in sports news, Copper Queens are ready for Switzerland.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RenGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
The FAR's 2022-2023 season is over, and the 2023-2024 season is around the corner. Camnet Stars Football Club, popularly known as the local national team, is looking for young talented football players from across Zambia, aged between 16 and 23 years old. Camnet soccer trials will be held on the 30th of June and the 1st of July 2023 in Lusaka at 09 hours. The venue is Kabulonga Boys Secondary School grounds. Your skills could earn you a place in the world of soccer greats in Zambia and the world. Camnet Stars Football Club, the local national team, is a team born for greatness with visionary players. Let us join hands and contribute to high levels of Zambian football standards. Don't miss these trials. The future of Zambian soccer is dependent on you. Make a date with us. Remember, you are born for greatness. See you there.
And now the news in detail. A former security guard of Magnum Security in Lusaka, So Nsiku, is living in dire poverty following the company's alleged refusal to pay him his retirement benefits after serving for 5 years from 2016 to 2021. Mr. Nsiku, who resides in Lusaka's Mutendera compound, says life has been hard for him and his family due to lack of resources, forcing him to look for pieceworks to survive. Meanwhile, Magnum Security, through its Assistant Human Resources Officer, only identified as Mr. Perry, have dismissed the allegations laid on the company. More in this report.
This is So Nsiku, a teacher by profession and former security guard at Magnum Security in Lusaka. Mr. Nsiku says he was in 2016 forced to work outside his profession as a teacher due to the scarcity of jobs and opted to start working as a security guard at Magnum Security in order to fend for his family. He, however, alleges that he has been fighting an ongoing battle with the company from 2021 when he stopped working there, as the company has allegedly been refusing to pay him his benefits, which amount to over 5,000 kwacha.
Imagine 5 years if I were to leave a job 5 years ago. What am I eating? How am I surviving? What shelter am I using? So I'm very deeply concerned about the happening at Magnum Security, which is in Binjimfung Road. May His Excellency come to our aid, and Honorable Minister of Labor, to help us. Because this thing has been going on for a long time. We are now tired. People there, they are not being paid. They are suffering. How are they going to feed their families? How are they going to give their landlords? We are very much in trouble if the Minister of Labor and His Excellency and the government at large, if they cannot help us.
However, Magnum Security Assistant Human Resource Officer, who only identified himself as Mr. Perry in a phone interview, had this to say.
That is not true. We are paying people who have worked 10 years. But what can make us fail to pay him 5,000 kwacha? Let him come through HR office.
Okay, you should ask for yourself or Mr. Ngulube.
Either me or Mr. Ngulube, any of us.
Okay, so when can he come? Are you able to give a date or just any time?
Even on Monday or tomorrow. Though we have a management meeting from from 9 hours. I think it can come through after lunch, that is 14 hours.
The affected former security guard has called on the Ministry of Labour and Social Security to take a close interest on the operations of security companies to ensure that they adhere to labour laws. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
4 convicts and 1 remandee have escaped from the holding cells in NAKONDE district of Muchinga province in the early hours of Sunday, the 25th of June 2023. Muchinga Police Commanding Officer Kaunda Mubanga says the 4 escaped from lawful custody by breaking a padlock on the grill door of cell number 2 and a burglar bar which was already cut by an unknown instrument believed to be an axor. Mr. Mubanga has identified the suspects as Obed Siame, charged with the offense of abduction and is serving a 7-year sentence, and 23-year-old John Kasomo, slapped with a 5-year jail sentence, charged with the offense of breaking into a building and committing a felony therein. Others are 25-year-old Alinani Singoi, who was slapped with a 5-year sentence for the offense of breaking into a building and committing a felony therein, and a 23-year-old Kondwani Chabinga, who was convicted to 18 months offense of burglary and theft. Mr. Mubanga also says 1 remandee identified as Lazarus Sichembe, charged with the offense of murder, is also among those who have escaped. Brief facts are that 3 officers were on duty whilst working around 01 hours when they overheard a strange noise behind the female cell, as if someone was breaking the wall. The police command says the 2 male constables went to check what was happening and found suspects climbing the wall fence, and 4 were already on top of the fence and managed to jump off. Officers fired 2 warning shots and only managed to apprehend 1 identified as Alinani Singoi, who later narrated to the officers how they escaped. Police have since launched a manhunt for the remaining escapees. The Dorcas workers under the Woodlands Central Mission District and Kafue Mission District have empowered 9 people with various items to start up businesses. Woodlands Central Seventh-day Adventist Church Secretary Agnes Lumbuka says the church had to look within and identify the vulnerable who needed help. She says the role of the Dorcas is to identify problems and be part of the solution. More in this report.
In a spirit of Ubuntu, the Dorcas workers under the Woodlands Central Mission District and Kafue Mission District have empowered various people in Lusaka's Mtendere, Kalingalinga, Garden and Kalikiliki compounds. Among those that have been empowered is a woman with 10 children, 4 of which are deaf.
An amazing story. She has 10 children, 4 of them are deaf. And she has continued to work very hard to take care of the family. In the same way, we are empowering her with a few items to start business.
It may not be enough, but at least it's something to start with. So the mothers would love to see you progress in this. Don't eat the money, don't eat the capital. Please continue, and then keep updating us. Challenges that you'll find as you start your business.
And you know, as the workers, we want to see our children not to be begging in the streets, but they need the finances in their homes, that they can also help others. Same way, as we empower the other young man, we are doing the same to this young man.
The beneficiaries of the items are so grateful to the Dorcas mothers and their gesture, which they say will go a long way in uplifting their lives.
I have seen what the Dorcas mothers have done. The donation that they have done to me, it has really soothed my heart. I really feel happy, and I thank the Dorcas mothers and also God. I thank them very much for helping me with this and how I'm going to start my business. In the past, I never had any business.
The Dorcas workers have since pledged to continue helping those in need, further stating that the role of the Dorcas is not just to wear a uniform, but identify problems and help to be part of the solution.
Most of them want to start business, so we've empowered them with a number of items to help them start the businesses that they want. Among them, we had a mother who has 10 children and 4 of them are deaf. So she's also been empowered with a number of items to start a business. The total cost of the items empowered, I think it's almost about 10,000.
Meanwhile, the Kafiwa Mission District, led by Pastor Tembo, also made donations of mattresses to Kafiwe General Hospital. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Farmers in Mukaika constituency of Eastern Province have called on the Food Reserve Agency, FRA, to live up to its word of paying them within a 7-day period after purchase of their commodity. Speaking to Camnet News, one of the farmers, Monica Sakala, says some farmers had to wait for up to 3 months in 2022 before receiving their payment. She, however, notes that paying up on time will help the farmers have enough time to plan in readiness for the next farming season. More in this report.
Are farmers at one of the Food Reserve Agency FRA satellite depots in Mukaika constituency of Eastern Province who have responded to the call by the FRA for farmers to start bringing their maize for purchase now that the 2023 crop marketing season has officially been launched. The farmers, however, have one plea for the FRA, and that is quick payment upon purchase of their grain to help them fend for their families and buy inputs on time in preparation for the next farming season. One of the farmers, Monica Sakala, says farmers would be happy if the agency lives up to its promise of paying them within 7 days after purchase of their grain.
Tinagulisa mwezi mu August, tinabolola ndira ndrama mu December. Yonse aya mamanthi tingosesera ndrama sizibwera ndrama. So apateze doubt uta olo tipeleke chani chi milisi yatu tikapeleka penangu izangala futi kwati last year amene izinachedwa ndrama.
Another farmer, Madalena Sakala, is elated with the buying of a 50-kilogram bag of maize at 280 kwacha, stating that farmers will be more motivated to sell to FRA than to briefcase buyers.
Ine nakondwera kuti vatisegurira kuno va FRA. Ndava tanzovutika mwandi kuti tuone ndirama tanzogulisa kuma briefcase buyers. So lomba vantu vakhala na encourage yakuti tikagulise ku FRA lomba tikatenge ndirama yokwanira bwino pamosi yakuti tikapereka ku fertilizer.
The farmers have further called for education on climate-smart farming to protect their crop from destruction during the next farming season, stating that most of them were negatively affected in the 2022-2023 rain season. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Eastern Province.
Kabwe Central Member of Parliament Chrysosta Piri has urged the church to take part in the ongoing rebuilding of the country's economy. Speaking during the church service at Kabwe Central Seventh-day Adventist SDA Church, the lawmaker pledged her commitment to continue supporting the church in all its endeavors. The lawmaker further urged congregants at the church to come on board and participate in the fish farming project initiated by her office. And speaking as a guest pastor, Manda Hill District Pastor Lukena Monde says the SDA Church will continue lobbying from both civic and government leaders for its future projects.
We are planning to be the biggest supplier and producer of fish in Kabwe that you should even feed the whole country. It doesn't matter. And when you feel like you want to relax, you'll be visiting your place where there's fish, you start fishing, you're relaxing. That is your place. And I call upon all the churches that are present here, and when you go back to your churches, start planning. What we need is a 5,000 to prepare a fish pond, then a pond line which costs about 7,000, then we give you fingerlings, and also you start buying feeds, little by little, you start harvesting your fish. So look into that as you are starting your projects in Kaframas, but we have got a land where we just want to look at this land, it is for fish farming. So this is the good news that I'm bringing for you, not only churches and also cooperative.
The evidence of the gospel is having the hands that give. It is on the platform of giving that salvation is wrought. And he that does not understand having long hands to give does not understand the gift of the cross. And such a one is still in the next stage. Move from the next stage, get to the reformed stage. and your lives will never be the same.
Disability Rights Watch Programs Coordinator Bruce Joma says there is need to come up with programs that will help persons with disabilities cope amidst climate change effects. Speaking to Camnet News, Mr. Joma says factors such as climate change have continued to increase vulnerability among persons with disabilities, hence the need to ensure that persons with disabilities have tailor-made programs to help them cope. Mr. Joma has therefore advised the Zambian government to take advantage of the high-level political dialogue in New York due to take place from the 10th July to the 19th of July 2023 to highlight progress and challenges in upholding rights of persons with disabilities in Zambia.
We think that with the coming of the high-level political dialogue in New York next month, Zambia should be able to be held accountable for the extent to which it is investing in social sectors that have a direct bearing on the lives of persons with disabilities. The focus, in our view, must also be on building resilience around the impacts of climate change and also ensuring that there is meaningful access to productive assets such as land for households of persons with disabilities. When it comes to social protection, we think that the social cash transfer program has been a good program and that the amounts must be increased, but we also think that we must move towards having individual disability allowances for people with disabilities and not having household grants, because then the impact is reduced because their vulnerability levels are higher than ordinary households.
Governance Elections Advocacy Research Services GEARS initiative says it is happy that the Constitutional Court has put to rest the debate of whether fresh nominations should be called once a candidate withdraws from an election. In an interview with Camnet News, GEARS Initiative Advisory Council Chairperson Lakson Lungu says the lack of clarity has been causing confusion as the Electoral Commission of Zambia, ECZ, has had to cancel various nominations and call for fresh elections which was costing both the Commission and other candidates extra financial costs. Mr. Lungu, however, says the Constitutional Court has ruled that an independent candidate who withdraws from an election will not necessitate fresh nominations, while a political party-sponsored candidate who withdraws will also need to resign from that party for fresh nominations to be called.
And we are happy with the outcome of the Constitutional Court ruling, where it has been determined that a candidate who is an independent candidate cannot cause the cancellation of an election when they withdraw from an election, from the nomination which they filed in, and then they decided to withdraw from that before the election date. So such an election cannot be cancelled, because the Constitution does not talk about withdrawing. The Constitution emphasizes resignation. Now, an independent candidate does not resign from anything. They are simply withdrawing from an election. Very different from a political party-sponsored candidate who withdraw from an election and resign from their political parties. Those can call for the cancellation of election in line with Article 52, Clause 6 of the Constitution of Zambia. So, the Constitutional Court has brought this matter to be settled. So this has helped a lot in the sense that now we are not going to have this problem. And I want to take advantage of this particular interview to also encourage the citizens of this country to always seek the interventions of the Constitutional Court when we have problems with issues to do with constitutionalism. If there's anything that we are not clear about in the Constitution, let's just go to the Constitutional Court and seek determination.
A national heritage enthusiast, Lamek Piri, says there is need to publicize small traditional ceremonies if Zambia is to fully benefit from its tourism sector. Speaking to Camden News, Mr. Piri, who is also the coordinator of Kwili Muna traditional ceremony of the Lamba-speaking people, says small traditional ceremonies in Zambia have remained in the shadows, hence many tourists do not know about them. He says one of them is the Kwili Muna traditional ceremony of Chieftainess Malembeka, which takes place every July in Mpongwe district with an aim of remembering previous chiefs and showcasing traditional foods. Mr. Perry says the Kwili Muna traditional ceremony for 2023 has been slated for 22nd July and is expected to showcase the rich heritage of the Lamba-speaking people.
They are more focused in selling out the Komboka ceremony and the Nchwala, leaving out these other traditional ceremonies. But if you go across the country, you are going to find that there are a lot of big and nice traditional packages that are being done. So the only thing that I can say right now is that I want to urge the media, more especially the media, that there are so many traditional ceremonies that they can sell in the country. In so doing, they'll be attracting a lot of tourists to come through, and indeed, they'll be educating people on the national heritage. So the chieftainess will be invoking old spirits, the spirits of those old chiefs who died, so that they can give a blessing to the chiefdom, and at the same time to pave a way forward for the chiefdom. This is what will be happening. It will be very much interesting for you to come through and see how traditional foods are cooked in a traditional village that has been erected in the arena. At the same time, there's a cave that has been produced there. You'll be able to see how old chiefs were protected or where they used to run to. Those are the things that you'll be able to see.
This is Camnet Television Main News. Join us for more news after this break.
You know I can take her a bit.
Yes, my dear.
I was thinking of getting you a Bugatti for your birthday.
Really?
I'm quiet. My name is Yana.
Don't worry, man. That's why there is insurance.
Insurance?
You heard me.
Not just any kind of insurance, but Savenda General Insurance, a company that offers superior customer service, highly professional and dedicated staff. We are not just any insurance company, but an insurance company that actually pays our claims. We cover, among others, fire, marine, aviation, engineering, agriculture, motor vehicle, and miscellaneous insurance. So, live life to the full, knowing that Savenda General Insurance has got you covered. Savenda General Insurance. Insurance excellence.
Water is life. Each drop counts, and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RenGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
Welcome back. We'll continue with Camnet Television Main News. Eswatini High Commissioner to Zambia, Lindiwe Kunene, says she is so far happy with the preparation for the 57th Zambia International Trade Fair, which will take place in Ndola from the 28th of June 2023 to the 4th of July 2023. Ms. Kunene, who spoke shortly after touring some stands, says she will be sending back the report to King Mswati on what she has found. Meanwhile, Copperbelt Minister Elisha Matambo says he is excited to learn that King Mswati will be among those who will be attending the fair. He says the people on the Copperbelt are eager to be receiving the King, who is this year's trade fair guest of honor.
Our relationship has been cemented by His Excellency President Hakainde Hichilema. I think he came to your country, and then it can also be seen that for you to come and be one of the people participating in the International Trade Fair here in Ndola, it shows that we have strong bilateral relations, even when it comes to doing business together. I want to say that we are very delighted as Copperbelt Province to learn that we will be receiving the king here. And I think you're coming to come and check how the place is and going around the trade fair. And I pray that you are impressed with what you found. And we are, the people of Copper Belt are ready to and eager to receive him to come and be the guest of honor in the coming international trade fair.
Visited the stand and we have all appreciated. Oh, okay. So we've seen that, okay, everything is in order. So we'll be taking back the report back to the kingdom. We thank you.
The Zambia Flying Doctor Services says most pregnant women in the Masheshe area of NAKONDE constituency in Mongi district have presented symptoms of malaria. Organization senior medical resident Dr. Puta Chisanga says malaria seems to be a problem in this part of the country and that more needs to be done to prevent the spread of malaria. Meanwhile, the doctor has expressed happiness at the turnout in the number of people seeking medical services in this part of the district. More in this report.
The Zambia Flying Doctor Services Senior Resident Medical Doctor Puta Chisanga has expressed happiness with the large turnout of patients for screening in the Masheshe area of NAKONDE constituency in Mongo district of Western Province. During the screening of patients, Dr. Chisanga has found that most pregnant mothers have malaria symptoms.
Today here we're doing both specialized services as well as just general screening. We are offering dental services, eye services, and we're also doing ultrasound scans. So by virtue of bringing ultrasound scans, we've seen a very high turnout of pregnant women. I think it's the first facility that we have attended to over 44 pregnant women in a day. Malaria, I think, still seems to be a challenge in this area, and most of the pregnant women have presented with malaria in pregnancy.
And the people in the area have praised government for bringing healthcare services closer to their locality.
Batisize machine ya kuonesa ko lukataza lukimasinga wamulomo lukataza kimete ubofwa lukenera mamubiri ka ofela kona oteze madokta kona kutusa mabutatabu chwale bitumeza hulu kama sezo bayizize mi kumane yakuli baba nani milwalo nako yakuli mulwalo hauzuile lafumane alifo kupanga ni program ya kweza ka kuli kona kupera kuwera mo ma transport yakuluze ka kwifita mungu alwafu manangi
muliro ani chile muliro chese bitoputana kali utule weche chikora batisize kazolopirika mane bayetele cholo mane bakode kubona nekalo nali hole babona mwabalu utela mane bayekeze pateni kaka utela kabalu utasha balumela handende weche bazele pili kwa.
Most people in Namasheshe area fail to access quality healthcare services due to poor road network. As such, the services Zambia Flying Doctors are offering should be appreciated by all. Rogers Fairpa reporting for Zanis in Mongo district of Western Province.
The Ministry of Agriculture in Siavonga district has engaged over 100 smallholder farmers who will receive 1,000 beehives for them to embark on honey production. Siavonga Acting Senior Agricultural Officer Kennedy Mwale says the honey production alternative livelihood intervention is supported by the United Nations Development Supported Project, the Strengthening Climate Resilience of Agricultural Livelihoods in Agroecological Regions 1 and 2 SCRALA project. Mr. Mwale says the alternative livelihood of beekeeping has been scaled up to 5 agricultural camps in Siavonga, namely Manchavwa, Siamwinga, Bakasa, Changa and Simamba. He says that each of the 100 beneficiary farmers will receive 20 beehives to ensure increased honey production. And given Hambalangwe of Changa Agricultural Camp says he was trained by the SCRALA project in Mpongwe on how to produce honey. Nais has more in this report.
The Ministry of Agriculture in Siavonga district has engaged over 100 smallholder farmers who will receive 1,000 beehives for them to embark on honey production. Siavonga Acting Senior Agricultural Officer Kennedy Mwale says the honey production alternative livelihood intervention is supported by the United Nations program, supported project the strengthening climate resilience of agricultural livelihoods in agroecologic regions 1 and 2.
We have a total number of 1,000 beehives. Then we have 100 beneficiaries. That's across 5 camps.
And given Hambalangwe of Changa camp had this to say.
Last year in the garden 4,000 in the Manauteura. This year, I think in this processing
This is Endless Kayungwa of Myombo Beekeeping Group.
Sunga nzimu kapena mabizi ni chintu chamene chinga titandize ngataikirako nzeru because ni mambiri bantu bamene bafuna honey. Honey has got a market, it has got demand.
Meanwhile, Siavonga District Agriculture Coordinator Anderson Mutinta explains how the beekeeping alternative livelihood will benefit the farmers.
Beekeeping is a low input enterprise. All you need is collection of bees, like if you have a beehive, they enter there. Not much input apart from just maintaining the environment.
Reporting, Lawrence Kabutu in Siavonga, Southern Province. You're watching Camnet Television Main News. We'll take a second and final break. Join us for international and sports news after the break.
The FAR's 2022-2023 season is over, and the 2023-2024 season is around the corner. Camnet Stars Football Club, popularly known as the local national team, is looking for young talented football players from across Zambia, aged between 16 and 23 years old. Camnet soccer trials will be held on the 30th of June and the 1st of July 2023 in Lusaka at 09 hours. The venue is Kabulonga Boys Secondary School grounds. Your skills could earn you a place in the world of soccer greats in Zambia and the world. Camnet Stars Football Club, the local national team, is a team born for greatness with visionary players. Let us join hands and contribute to high levels of Zambian football standards. Don't miss these trials. The future of Zambian soccer is dependent on you. Make a date with us. Remember, you are born for greatness. See you there.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. Rainglow, your smart irrigation partner.
And now in international news, voters are expected to give former Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis' Conservative Party a second term in office, while Greeks re-elected the Conservative New Democracy government by resounding majority in May. Mitsotakis refused to form a coalition government, triggering a second vote. In other international stories, many Tunisian Muslims are complaining they can no longer afford to buy sheep for sacrifice, whereas consumption of traditional sweets has fallen as an economic crunch and high prices prevent customers from splashing out on food ahead of Eid al-Adha, or Feast of Sacrifice, which begins on June 28. Here's a roundup of international news for more.
Stability is the key word in this election. That is what New Democracy leader Kyriakos Mitsotakis says he seeks, and why he didn't try to form a government after claiming 41% of the first vote a month ago.
The voice of Athens resounds across Greece tonight. Let it also resound at the ballot box on Sunday. Only then will we end this 2-month election marathon with a result that will give the country a stable government, a new democracy government, a result that will give us the strength to implement our plan for a sovereign Greece.
Mitsotakis' problem in May was the electoral system voted in by the previous left-wing Syriza government, one of proportional representation. Parties divide up the chamber's 300 seats in proportion to their share of the vote. New Democracy has brought back Greece's predominant system, known as enhanced proportionality. In May, Mitsotakis got just 145 seats, shy of the 151 he needed to govern on his own. If enhanced proportionality had been in place, he would have got 170 seats. So he held out for another election, when enhanced proportionality will apply. Many people seem to agree with him.
I think he was right. I think that he wanted to have a majority so that he would be able to govern without having to do a coalition government. From what I have observed and what I've read about, he wanted to have stability in the government. And particularly, I think now with many different international events going on, I think having stability might actually make sense.
Proportional representation was wrong, and the parties that voted for it have admitted that. It's tiring the people out, and I don't think Greece is ready for it. It may never be, and it's expensive. Elections cost 300 million euros.
But there may also be a historical reason for Mitsotakis' decision. His father, Prime Minister Constantine Mitsotakis, fought proportional representation through 3 election rounds to form a government without coalition partners.
When people want to vote for something, they'll vote for it, whatever the system. Look at Mitsotakis' father during the 1989 to 1990 elections. He also had to deal with proportional representation and ended up getting 47%. It's very difficult for an electoral system to stop the will of the people.
It appears the younger Mitsotakis doesn't want to take 18 months to rule on his own. By comparison, 2 months is relatively quick. John Psaropoulos, Al Jazeera, Athens.
Many Tunisian Muslims are complaining they can no longer afford buying sheep for sacrifice, whereas consumption of traditional sweets has fallen as an economic crunch and high prices prevent customers from splashing out on food ahead of Eid al-Adha, or a feast of sacrifice, which begins on June 28. We've asked the Mufti of the Republic to cancel this year's festival as there isn't enough production. We can only cover half the demand, given that we only have 650,000 sheep, not even 1.1 or 1.2 million sheep. In addition, prices are very high. Who should bear the responsibility for this? This year, like so many other consumer products, the price of sacrificial mutton has risen to at least $350, more than double the minimum wage in this Maghreb country. The price of sheep is between $500 and $200, and the very high cost of hay pushes up the prices of sheep considerably, which in turn impacts the consumer's purchasing power. Prices are a little more expensive this year, and people aren't in a position to pay, but we are trying to find lower prices. Tunisia, which is indebted to a tune of 80% of its GDP, obtained an agreement in principle from the International Monetary Fund (IMF) in October for a loan of nearly $2 billion, but discussions have since stalled due to lack of a firm commitment from the country to implement a reform program.
It's now time for sports news. In our sports news tonight, Copper Queens captain Barbara Banda says her team has taken note of the mistakes made in a match played against Ireland and that the team is working to improve on the mistakes. Banda says the team played well in the match against Ireland, even if they lost by 3-2. She says the next encounter with Switzerland on the 30th of June 2023 will not be an easy one, but that the team is preparing adequately. The Copper Queens are currently in Germany in preparation for the Women's World Cup.
Training camp, yeah, the Shabab Bruna wanted pushing. Game and in the Shabab Bruna, despite the corner, my errors could defend. If that tends to Bambini, Makamaka could if my defender, as in defend my set pieces, that tends to come be the money. What's Cabonda World Cup? Target ya kuwina na kusevenza saleni. Na mashwa ikache kulonga nevza tanza maningi. Kama na chetenzele pamoja na teamwork ndiye ingatitandize mponzi. Ziko umopot supporter then mapitize tena support ya itifu na hape maningi kunaweza kutandiza.
It is not a big issue, but it was just some minor injuries which are not bad. I'm happy that I'm back today, fit on the pitch, And looking at the game that we played against Ireland, I think it was a good game for us. Looking at Ireland is not a pushover team, but I think our play was awesome. The girls, looking at the itself, we dominated more in the first half, and we just had some errands on the second half, but well and good. The coaches have saw the mistakes, and I think this is what we are working on. Starting from yesterday's recovery, we've been talking about the game, and in today's game, we've been working on our mistakes that we made. Well, Switzerland also is a very good team, so we're expecting a tough game. So we are not relaxed, but we still want to push more and improve more. When you look at the game itself that we played, I think we improved in so many ways. The way we are playing, tactical discipline of the game, we played very well. And when it comes to communication, I think we had a very good communication with each other. Well, it is helping us a lot because looking at our team and where we are coming from, I think we are really happy to come to here. And all what I can say is we are really improving. To the fans is to keep on supporting us, and we'll surely deliver good results as we are going to the World Cup. It's a big tournament we are going in, so we just were asking for their support and encouragement.
On that Copper Queen's note, we'll come to the end of the news tonight. Before we go, the headlines once again. NAKONDE child abductor and 3 other convicts escape from custody. Eastern Province farmers demand timely payments from FRA. Climate change worries Disability Rights Watch. In international news, Greece votes in parliamentary polls for second time in 5 weeks. And in sports news, Copper Queens ready for Switzerland. Our Camnet verse of the day is coming from the book of Isaiah 60, verse 1 to 2. Arise, shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of the Lord is risen upon thee. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. But the Lord shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee. Thank you so much for watching Camnet Television Main News. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Good night.